Manchester United are willing to sell out-of-form midfielder Casemiro for the right offer this summer. Manchester United are open to selling Casemiro this summer if the right offer arrives. United could also offload other midfielders such as Christian Eriksen and Scott McTominay. If Casemiro joins Raphael Varane through the exit door, it should free up summer funds for the club. Manchester United are willing to sell Casemiro this summer should the right offer arrive for the midfielder. Journalist Ben Jacobs has exclusively the club would be willing to let the Brazilian international leave Old Trafford this summer, alongside a number of other Man United midfielders, including Christian Eriksen and Scott McTominay. Ineos owner and new minority shareholder at Man United Sir Jim Ratcliffe is eyeing a summer overhaul to Erik ten Hag's squad, who could also be heading for the exit door. The departures of midfield trio of Casemiro, McTominay and Eriksen could free up some funds for either Ten Hag or a new manager to spend on new arrivals this summer, especially with tight financial fair play restrictions pressures on the club. It is not guaranteed that either of those players will leave the club this summer, but according to Jacobs, there have been indications that Casemiro's possible exit is very realistic. Casemiro latest midfielder on verge of Man United exit. The former Real Madrid player is in poor form at Old Trafford. Casemiro signed for United from Real Madrid in the summer of 2022. For a hefty £70 million fee and was a breath of fresh air in the United midfield. He played a key role in the club's top three finish as Ten Hag's side came closest to challenging title rivals Manchester City and Arsenal last season. A hugely decorated player at Madrid, Casemiro, who is on £300,000 a week at Old Trafford, brought his winning mentality to United and scored in the League Cup final against Newcastle United to help end the club's brief 6-year wait for silverware. Things looked on the up for Man United, but fast forward to the present day and it has all gone wrong. Things have fallen apart for Ten Hag and his players, no more so than for Casemiro. Following an injury-stricken campaign for the club, the 32-year-old has been forced to fill in at centre-back in the latter stages of the season, and it has been nothing short of a disaster. It started in the FA Cup semi-final, where United threw away a 3-goal lead at Wembley Stadium against Championship outfit Coventry City, before scraping through to the final on penalties. At home, a nervy win against Sheffield United and a dismal draw against Burnley followed, before United were battered at Crystal Palace. Most recently, Casemiro was at fault for the only goal of the game against Arsenal as United lost all sight of European football. With things beginning to quickly unravel for the 5-time Champions League winner, he has been tipped to leave the club in the summer, which Jacobs has confirmed as a realistic option. Casemiro departure a very realistic option for Man United. The Saudi Pro League could be a possible destination. Jacobs has brought to light the current situation regarding Casemiro, who is one of 3 midfielders Man United would be willing to let leave the club should the right offer arrive. Casemiro is contracted healthily at Manchester United until 2027, but there's a feeling that if the right offer comes in, Manchester United would be willing to let him go. That will then free up the wage bill and funds to allow them to move for a midfielder. As I've said before, Manchester United want a striker to compete with Rasmus Højlund and add extra goals. Depending on movement in midfield and movement in defense, we'll start to understand what the more urgent priority is. If Casemiro goes and Christian Eriksen might potentially depart, and it's not absolutely impossible that offers would be entertained for Scott McTominay at the right amount either, and then you suddenly have the need to. United have announced that centre-back Raphael Varane will leave the club at the end of this season when his contract expires. The defender joined the club on a 3-year deal in August 2021, and it has been confirmed that it will not be extended. United tracking 3 players amid Raphael Varane exit as defensive rebuild begins. United have put plans in place to sign 2 centre-backs in this summer's transfer window. There is set to be a change to the landscape of United's centre-back pool, and it has been announced that Raphael Varane will leave the club at the end of the campaign when his contract expires. Everton's Jared Branthwaite, Gleisen Bremer of Juventus, and Bayer Leverkusen's Edmund Tapsoba are all understood to be on United's radar. Ten Hag hails Fernandes amid Bayern Munich's interest in Bruno Fernandes. United manager Erik ten Hag, speaking this lunchtime, described the Portuguese international as a very important player. Bayern are understood to be interested in the prospect of signing the United captain this summer, as are Inter Milan. Fernandes is believed to be receptive to leaving the club amid the possibility of missing out on European qualification. Ten Hag told the media, "It's the same question as last week. So I answered the same answer. Now, in all the years he was a tremendously important player for Manchester United and creating the most chances across the Premier League. So many assists, so many goals. It's clear he's a very important player for us." United players fear Fernandes will leave amid Bayern interest. Members of United's squad are fearful that Bruno Fernandes could leave Old Trafford this summer amid Bayern Munich's interest in the midfielder. The Reds skipper is understood to be receptive to leaving the club amid the possibility they could fail to qualify for European competition for the first time in a decade. Inter Milan, along with Bayern, are also interested in his signature. Premier League is Dumfries' preferred destination amid United links, according to a report by Italian publication La Gazzetta dello Sport. Inter Milan right-back Denzel Dumfries would prefer to move to the Premier League this summer amid reports linking United with his signature. The Netherlands international has been linked with a move to Old Trafford at various stages in the last couple of years, and it is looking increasingly likely that he will leave Inter this summer. Aston Villa, earlier this week, were also credited with interest in the attack-minded fullback. Southgate words are music to United ears as Ratcliffe's radical change is coming. Erik ten Hag's last game at Old Trafford could be on Wednesday night, and the debate about who should replace him has only intensified among fans over the last few weeks. There was a surge in momentum behind a potential appointment of Gareth Southgate in March, and the bookmakers made him the favorite for the United job. The reports claiming Southgate had become the front-runner to replace ten Hag didn't go down well with supporters, who rightly suggested he's underqualified for the role. Southgate has been the most successful England manager since Sir Alf Ramsey, but his previous experience of club management saw Middlesbrough relegated from the Premier League. Denmark boss not worried about United duo. Denmark head coach Kasper Hjulmand has admitted he is not worried about Christian Eriksen's and Rasmus Højlund's respective situations at United ahead of the European Championship. Denmark will begin their European Championship campaign on June 16, facing Slovenia. Both Eriksen and Højlund are expected to be named in their squad for the tournament in Germany. Despite a recent increase in minutes, Eriksen has not played as often as he would have liked this season. Højlund, meanwhile, has struggled for goals in recent weeks. Despite those two factors, Hjulmand is not concerned, telling Ekstrabladet, "I'm not that worried. I am very happy that Christian has been playing a few minutes lately. It is extremely difficult to shine in a team that struggles to make the connection work. We know in this world that things can quickly go either way. I am happy that they are both in a good condition. So in that way I'm not too worried about those. 2. Bayern looking at Fernandes. According to a report by the Independent, Bayern Munich are looking at the prospect of signing United captain Bruno Fernandes in this summer's transfer window. Fernandes has been linked with an exit from Old Trafford in recent weeks and recently admitted he will not make a decision on his future until after this summer's European Championship campaign with Portugal. The report states Bayern believe they can sign Fernandes because of increasing frustration at United. It adds that United's hierarchy would be willing to do a deal because of the need to sell players in the coming months. Ten Hag issues encouraging Martinez update. United manager Erik ten Hag has said defender Lisandro Martinez is set to be included in the matchday squad for tomorrow night's clash with Newcastle United. Martinez has experienced a season to forget on the injury front, being limited to just 11 appearances in all competitions. He last featured against Brentford on March 30. Speaking at this lunchtime's press conference, Ten Hag said, Licha Martinez, I think he will return to the squad. He's done some sessions with us and we plan for him to be available if this afternoon everything goes right in training. He will return to the squad. Atletico leading Greenwood race. Atletico Madrid are leading the race to sign United forward Mason Greenwood ahead of this summer's transfer window, according to a report by Team Talk. Greenwood has spent this season on loan at Spanish side Getafe. He has scored 10 goals in 33 matches. Getafe want to keep hold of Greenwood, but it is understood they want to re-sign him on loan, whereas other suitors are interested in a permanent deal. Atletico have been heavily linked with him in recent weeks, as have Juventus. Opinion. United's decision countdown has to end on one of 2 days. Erik ten Hag's only win in 5 encounters with Wednesday night's opponents, Newcastle, was in the League Cup final. Brighton have won all 3 league meetings with Ten Hag's United, who required a penalty shootout to overcome them in last season's FA Cup semi-final. City did the domestic double over United this term and won 2 of the 3 derbies in 2022-23. United will have to be sensitive about the timing of their decision. Whether Ten Hag trudges up the steps for a silver medal or brings the FA Cup into the Wembley press room, some breathing space is required. It is not always in their hands.